There is one concept that has heavily influenced the development of the strategic narrative method, and in fact, my whole career in consulting. This concept is called framing. Framing is when our decisions are influenced by the way information is presented. The way information is presented is actually more important than the information itself. Human beings, us, are dependent on our cognitive ability to make sense of the information that is presented to us, whether this information is written, is visible through interaction with others. It's all about how we perceive it. We all see the same thing, but reality is different to all of us because we all perceive it differently. You may be walking in the street and be very joyful and see everything as beautiful, or someone might be walking just next to you in the same street, the same time, same day, same place almost, and be sad and see the street in a completely different way. I bring this concept to you because narratives are an interpretation of stories. They are a viewpoint. They are a representation that is biased, that is subjective of what we've experienced or what we are about to experience. And the whole concept of a narrative is in that respect different from a story. A story has happened. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's there. It has been developed and written and published maybe and told. But we get to retell that story many, many times. And we do this through reframing that story. So when we want to build trust with our clients in professional services, we have a chance to use the power of framing to signify and to present to them information in a way that will be favorable to our goals, but also favorable to theirs. It's all about creating a relationship that is mutually beneficial, that is authentic, that it's balanced. Many times, although we know our domain of expertise very, very well, we are fully in control of that aspect of what we do, the work that we do, we may make mistakes in using the wrong frames for how we talk about what we do because we're not necessarily aware. We haven't been trained, or we just get caught up in our emotions or our day-to-day. And therefore, we don't come across as experts. Sometimes we want to sell our services at all cost, and we come across as needy. That's not how experts really sell. Experts operate with detachment. They are not there to convince anyone. If you are advising someone, you have to keep a distance between you and this person, and that starts in the sales process. So you can't be showing up with neediness or any sort of pressure to sell something. You're not here to convince or twist arms or put some sort of pressure on someone. That's a fundamental mistake that many of us in professional services do. We see sales as manipulation, pressure, as having to lie, as having to distort things, and to really push somebody into making a decision sooner than it's required even. So framing is an essential part of not only how we operate, but how we grow our businesses. And there are many, many frames that we can bring to actually build something that is beneficial to all of us. Framing is like when you build a house. When you design the house, you have to make decisions where you're going to put entryways and windows. And so you're not going to show the bad side of the lot, say the chain link fence or the view of the highway or the parking lot. You're probably going to position the windows where the view is nicer, right? View of the ocean, of the water, or a garden and backyard, something that is pleasant to the eye. That is exactly what framing is about. You don't build a house completely transparent out of glass, right? You don't need all of the information around the house to be able to live in this house. That's completely crazy. Like, who could even build a house out of glass? Even the richest people on the planet don't even do that. Why? Because it's unlivable. It's overwhelming. There's too much information. So we put windows at specific places because we want to frame what we see outside, or what people outside can see inside the house, in a way that is advantageous, that works for us human beings. These are basic architectural principles. Why is it that we don't use the same principle when it comes to defining the strategy of our business, communicating about it, selling it, marketing it, and relating to it as a leader? You let me know. I've seen so many people wanting to show and say everything about their business, and they forget that really the way they thoughtfully curate the information that they want to give to the outside, or filter for themselves. You know, it's a conversation that with many people here, and I'll get to that point in a moment. But the way they curate information is so much more important than the information itself. So learn to frame your business to your advantage and to the advantage of your clients. Learn to do that. It's an essential skill that you grow over time. That's a muscle that you build by becoming aware of it, that by trying different frame scenarios, testing it, and seeing what it does. So I hope that this helped you understand how critical framing is. I hope this made you aware of this, the impact of this effect of how we get influence, how we drive our decisions, not because of reality, but because of how we present reality.